today I would like to thank to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to discuss about what we are doing to improve the public investment management. We actually did some analytics from 2008 to 2020 on the public investment, and most of the investment went to the certain sectors such as energy in the early, in late 2000, and then from 2000 onwards, we made most of the investment in the education and the transport sector. And this was mainly due to the government's interventions to improve the access to schools and kindergartens, and so therefore we had to build a lot of kindergartens and the schools up until 2020, and then in the last 3 to 4 years we've been making most of the public investment in healthcare and education. And so we can see that in the past 12 years, many of the public investment projects weren't able to secure the desired funding, and then especially in 2008 to 2011, and then in particular in 2018 and 19, there were more than 100 projects that were approved to be funded, but weren't able to secure actual disbursements, and many of these projects they were not implemented on time, and the projects got extended over multiple fiscal years. And Mongolia's fiscal year starts from 1st of January and then ends on the 31st of December. And then when we look at the quarterly disbursements and the financial performance, we see that in the first 2-3 quarters we have very little disbursement, and then more than 50% of the disbursements were made in the last quarter. And so that means that it has to do with several factors, including the lack of drawings and designs finalized, and the delay in the safeguards, etc. And so what that means is that the project preparedness levels is lackluster, and as a result, most of the funding remains in the account and is rarely dispersed evenly throughout the year. And therefore, in 2023, we actually developed this new law in order to address these challenges of public investment project delays and under disbursement, and as a result, we are looking to minimize the number of years these public investment projects are implemented, and we will improve also the disbursement and the financial performance. And in the last few years, we've made some major reforms. In 2018, we have incorporated together with the World Bank, we introduced this methodology on the economic and socio-economic impact calculation or the estimations. And then based on this methodology in 2018, we also operationalized a software that helps us with the calculation. And so we've been using this system for altogether 4 years now. And then also that was followed up by the electronic submission of the public investment projects from the local governments. And in order to improve the transparency, we also introduced certain disclosure requirements. In 2021, the planning and the reporting process, we also extended the involvement of other line ministries. And we have clarified the division of labor as to who plays what role in the public investment process. And also we wanted to ensure that there was public disclosure and involvement. And as a result, we developed my slide. So there is, you can see probably the timeline on screen, and in 2021, we actually introduced the law on public and private partnership, and this was a breakthrough law in Mongolia, and the draft was led by the Ministry of Finance, and this is still pending the final approval at the Parliament, and this public-private partnership law is designed to improve the public investment management in Mongolia, especially when it comes to the mega project. And with the public-private partnership, new modalities will be able to take some of the fiscal burden when it comes to the public investment management. And we actually have existing law on concession, and under this law, we implemented more than 60 projects. However, most of these projects actually added more burden to the budget rather than taking off the some of the burden from the budget. And then in order to improve the public investment efficiency and management, we also adopted the state cost-saving law as well. And so this state cost-saving law actually helps us design more prudent budget for each year. And so so that means from 2023, we will have a lot of cut down on the unnecessary budget costs. And also is that according to the new savings law and also the new proposed PPP law, we will have to have a much robust oversight on the economic aspects and also the socioeconomic outcome, and then we will plan plan and rank all of these proposed investment projects, and then we will figure out when these projects would be implemented. Will it be in the short term, medium term, or long term? And then we would incorporate this public investment into the medium-term fiscal framework. And okay, next slide, please. PMIS, Public Investment Management Information System, and we basically have operationalized this new system almost 80 to 90%. And in the past, before we operationalized this system, we would have to spend an extra 1 month and then have a deliberation at the cabinet level on the proposed public investment project list. But now with this information system, we can now automatically evaluate the project in terms of economic feasibility, bankability, and then we rank it automatically and then propose it to the budget. And then you can see there are 3 main steps in the system: the evaluation of the ongoing project, evaluation of the project's economic and social benefits, and third is evaluation, prioritization, selection of the project. And now with this system, we can evaluate this project starting from the 1st of April, and then by the 1st of June, we will have the shortlisted project, and then from July to September, we select the project to be included in the next fiscal year. And so this is the PMI system that we have been using for the almost the past 3 years now. And although the system has been evolving and developing. And then now, also, in this system, we distinguish the roles of the national government and also the local government and the budgetary framework for public investment for each of these levels. So we also have included certain functions which would help the budgeters to meet certain timelines in terms of drafting their investment project proposals. And also there are some tracking system to see the projects that are getting delayed in terms of the implementation. And then also there are some projects that could have been implemented by the private sector and yet being funded by the budget from the government. So now we have developed these 6 areas of projects, or 6 sectors, let's say, that are going to be no longer funded by the public investment sources. And so in 2023, we would not be funding these 6 sector projects. So the key challenge that we have now for the public investments projects, existing projects, is the inflation, how it is creeping into the public investment projects, and especially the construction materials. We have some certain shortages of construction materials in Mongolia. We import most of these construction materials, and so many of the construction materials, there's been an increase of at least 30% cost. And as a result, many of the public investment projects are now came to a standstill. And also, in addition to the construction materials, we have the labor cost increase. In 2022, there's been significant increase in the construction workers' wages, and as a result, for the public investment projects, we have a shortage of funding. As compared to the approved budget. And therefore, in 2023 budget, we are including additional financing for these existing projects, and this is putting a lot of strain on the existing budget resources that we have. And you can see that for many of these projects, of the 660 projects, most of them now are requesting for additional funding, and that is equal to about $100 million. And then when we analyze these projects, many of these projects, they started in 2020, and in 2021, we actually incrementally approved the additional funding, and this year we will have to significantly increase the funding. Next slide, please. There are some indicators. Can you see? So next one. Okay, now they're trying to figure out the right slide. And for the price increase and inflation, So how can we regulate the responses to the price increase? Well, it's not necessarily clear in the Mongolia's regulatory framework, and therefore we studied the other countries' experiences, and so the practice that we see is that the National Audit Office usually gets involved in validating the additional budget requests. And so for 2023 budget law of Mongolia, we are attaching these audit reports from the National Supreme Audit Body. Next slide, please. So that we have the appropriate justifications. And moving forward, we are going to have four main sources of public investment, public investment, and foreign loan and aid, and local government investment, and the public-private partnership. And for the growing demands to be met, we will have to, of course, rely on the public investment. So we are going to orient the public investment to the public buildings and the infrastructure projects. And for the foreign loans and aid, we would use it to finance big-scale development projects. For the local government investment, we use we will dedicate it to the projects that would bring employment opportunities in the local economy and other projects allowed under the law. And for the public-private partnership, we are going to use the available sources to finance the big-scale infrastructure and the social projects. So having this investment source mix will help us better manage the burden. Okay, next. Okay. For the 2023 investment, public investment, we tried to align our project to the new recovery policy of Mongolia. This is a policy medium term aimed at getting the economy back up on its feet in the post-COVID, and also for the next year's the public investment, we wanted to save as much as possible under the savings law. And so what we did was, first we evaluated and prioritized the projects for the effective planning. And secondly, we will execute the projects in phases with the right investment sources. And third, we are going to look at the PPT potentials as much as possible to attract the private funding to share the load. Okay, next. So, okay. World Bank model, yeah. There are essential elements of a public investment management. Can you see this slide? Yeah. Well, these elements are being adopted in Mongolia, and you can see that we have fully implemented 6 steps that we go to the first 3, and then number 4 and 5, we are going to operationalize those in 2023. And so in terms of the regulatory framework, in terms of the digital platform and software, we are going to fully incorporate these 8 essential elements of public investment management, and this way we will be able to have a much more robust investment planning, and we will have also transparency and public engagement. Thank you. Now next, we have, can you see gender slide? Yeah, okay. Further actions to take. We are looking to promote gender-responsive investment in Mongolia. In this area, we are working with the World Bank. Of course, gender-responsive investment will have certain outcomes more effectively for public engagement and equal access and alignment and responsiveness with the needs. And also now we are going to focus on energy efficient investment. In other words, the project that we finance, starting from the planning, we are going to look at the efficiency indicators and energy efficiency indicators, and then also green investment. We know that with the public investment, we implement at least 1,000 projects a year. And so what that means is that all of this project needs to be more sustainable, especially in terms of its consequences for the environment. And therefore, Ministry of Finance is going to coordinate with the line ministries to revise the relevant design indicators so that it will have better green performances. And so that we know what kind of technology will be preferred under the public investment projects in Mongolia. Okay, and that's on my presentation. I really apologize for these technical difficulties and being also late.